Hi, this is Richard Fields with this week's Report from the Fields. Tons of ink and hours of airtime have been spent on the September 10th assassination of Charlie Kirk of Turning Point. You've probably heard all the talking points. The left is using it as a rallying cry for more gun control. Some, a bit further left, are saying Kirk had it coming because he said things with which they disagreed. The extreme left is saying, good start, and here are some more targets. Meanwhile, the populist right is claiming they never resort to killing their enemies or rioting in the streets like the left is prone to do. But that's not exactly correct. I seem to remember a little street disturbance in Washington, D.C., when the Electoral College awarded the 2020 election to Joe Biden. In the immediate in the immediate aftermath of Kirk's murder, President Trump called for the legal execution of Kirk's assassin. And on September 1st, just 10 days before Kirk was killed, Trump ordered an airstrike on a Venezuelan speedboat, allegedly transporting narcotics, killing all 11 people on board. No jury trial, no arrest, no evidence presented, no nothing, just summary execution. So you see both ends of the political spectrum, communism or socialism on one end and right-wing populism or fascism on the other end, are perfectly comfortable using lethal violence to achieve their political goals. In reality, the political spectrum is shaped like a horseshoe with no practical difference between the sociopaths on the left and the sociopaths on the right. Whether they claim to be socialists or conservative populists doesn't make any difference. Or if they're honest communists and fascists. The vast majority of us are somewhere in the toe of the horseshoe, far from either end. We're professed libertarians or moderates or just apolitical. We just want the tyrants, whoever they profess themselves to be, to quit kicking horse dung in our faces, to quit stealing our stuff, and to quit nanny state managing our personal and business affairs. The difference between us and them can be summed up by whether we believe in the slogan, the end justifies the means. Libertarians reject that idea. We specifically reject the idea of using any force of any kind or coercion or fraud to control other people's behavior, period. That doesn't mean we're pacifists. We expressly claim the right to self-defense. If someone or a gang of people try to rob us or harm us, we reserve the right to shoot back. That's why we support the Second Amendment. Idealists and utopians on the left who believe that equality of wealth is the best of all possible worlds to be attained by any means necessary will quickly find that force, coercion, and violence will be necessary, not to mention fraud. Idealists and utopians on the right who believe in a nationalism where everyone shares the same religion, culture, genetic heritage, or whatever, and want to make that utopia happen by any means necessary, will also find that force, coercion, and violence will be necessary. Over the years, government at all levels has gotten so big and omnipotent that the control freaks on the left and the control freaks on the right are willing to fight to the death to get control of it so they can force people to live according to their idea of utopia. We're constantly being badgered to pick a side, team red or team blue. The continuous increase of the percentage of the population of independents and libertarians, those who refuse to identify as either Republican or Democrat, gives me hope that the sensible middle can ultimately prevail. I'm Richard Fields, and that's this week's Report from the Fields. See you again next week.